Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Sunday Morning Shred. I'm your host, Mark Murray. This is the show where you wake up Sunday morning, roll out of bed, finally, you guys have been sleeping way too long. I'm waiting here to talk guitars with you. Hope you got your coffee or tea or chocolate milk or soda or whatever you guys like in the morning, because we're ready to talk some guitars. Today we're going to be talking about the ones that got away. I also have some viewer questions that you guys submitted into the YouTube channel. But what I mean by the ones that got away are guitars that during my daily axe hunts, where I go on eBay, Reverb, Craigslist, OfferUp, I'm looking all over the place daily for good deals on guitars to rebuild. I got ones in my watch list that I'm about to pull the trigger on, and boom, someone swooped them up. I don't buy every guitar that comes by that's a good deal, because honestly, I've got too many here to work on as is. I got trade-ins, I got customer guitars, I got ones that I bought to rebuild, and the place is filling up. So I'm kind of out of space for now, but I got plenty to work on, so I'm not worried about that. These are ones that I was thinking about buying, and I was recommending some of them to you guys here on the show during the axe hunts, and they've recently sold. I looked through my Reverb, it has updates, and they tell you as the ones you're watching get new offers, and as they sell. And these ones sold, and it's a bummer, because these are all guitars I would like to have bought and rebuilt, or bought and hoarded in my guitar collection, which I am trying to whittle down, so no more guitar hoarding for me. I've actually got 4 guitars out here in the shop that I'm rebuilding for my personal collection. One's an LTD MH1000. I got an Aero 401 neck through. We got the LTD Explorer, and somewhere there's another one. I don't even remember what it is at this point, but I got too many guitars, so let's check out the ones that got away. These are guitars I found on Reverb that somebody else swooped up before I did. So here we have an LTD M100. This is a late 90s model. It says, for sale is an increasingly rare, hey, where'd you go, description? An increasingly rare treasure. Esp Ltd M100 for your consideration. Serious vintage, shredder priced, vintage. Priced to work with the tightest of budgets, made to rip with the best of them. Actually, that's dead true. These LTDs, the Korean-made ones, are amazing, and for the price, and you know, if you upgrade the bridge and the parts and the hardware, all that kind of stuff, the pickups, they're shredders, they're beasts. If you remember the Lizard or the Purple Crackle that I did, I mean, these are some of my favorite guitars I've ever built. They play amazing, they look amazing, they feel amazing. This one's $225 plus 65 shipping for a 99 LTD M100. That's a screaming deal. So let's see some pictures of this beast. Like I said, this is one that got away. I would have bought this. I actually have a couple of these around. They're all sold though. The last one just got swooped up. I could have bought another one to throw, you know, in the queue, but like I said, my guitar rack is full over there. I got too many guitars hanging up here. I got to make some space. But a couple dings, couple dents here and there. The frets, you could see a little bit of wear. No big deal. I can fix all that stuff. This is exactly the kind of guitar I'm looking for less than $300. I think the least I paid for one of these ones was $150. But yeah, you can find some really good deals on these things sometimes. Look at how beautiful this thing is. I was trying to find here. So it says M100 at the 12th fret. I prefer the LTD. If it just says LTD at the 12th fret, that's my favorite. But I think that was the first year that they made them in Korea. They just wrote LTD on the 12th fret. So this might be like he said, a 99. I think mine's a 98. Actually, one other thing. Oh, see, there's no neck plate on the back. I was going to say, some of them have a neck plate, some don't. I prefer them without the neck plate. It also has a slightly contoured heel there. So, great guitar that got away. Here's an Esp Maverick, 1990 in turquoise. $1,100, no longer for sale. This is like a dream guitar of mine. When I was like 20, I would go on eBay and look at these things all the time. The item is no longer available. That means it didn't sell, though. It would say it's sold if it sold. So it's no longer up there. It's one that got away. This is one, $450 plus 140 shipping, though. It's an LTD Alexi Liho, and it's got the floating bridge. It's a ESP branded license bridge. It's got the EMG pickup. I think it's an HZ in it. A couple dings. That's a weird looking ding right there. And yeah, 450. That's, you know, it's close to $600 shipped with the hard shell. Awesome guitar. I couldn't quite justify it because I believe this one was made in China. For 600 bucks, had to pass on it, but that would be a really fun project guitar right there. Was that bolt-on actually? I gotta double check that. See the back of it? You show the back? Oh, there it is. Yep, bolt-on. So, yeah, bolt-on, made in China. Gonna have to pass. This is a 1992 Maverick. Look at that color. This is a dream guitar of mine right here. So, whew, that's one that I would love to own. I'm getting a little sad knowing that this is not mine. One thing I don't like about it, the black painted headstock, that's just how ESP was doing it at that time. Why isn't it matched? I mean, I get it. They like to paint all their headstocks black and then just throw them on a shelf and then they can just grab one off the shelf, but it's not, you know, that's not what you want from a real high-end guitar. You want it to have the matched headstock with the cool custom logo and everything. But that color is just gorgeous. Esp Maverick. I believe that's 24 3/4 inch scale. Yep. And the maple neck, for me, I don't know if I prefer to see the maple neck. With that color, I kind of think rosewood would tie the headstock together a little bit better with that body. But dang, another one that got away. Here's another one, an LTD made in Korea Viper 100. I think they had it up for what, 300 bucks? Is that what that said? 300 plus 45 shipping, so we're looking at close to $400 with tax and all that stuff. Cool looking guitar. Looks like it has knockoff EMG pickups, so they're not real EMGs. That would have helped out in the value. You know, EMGs, a set of EMGs costs like 200 bucks new. So when I evaluate what I think a guitar is worth, if it has a hard shell case, I put that as a $100 value if it's a nice hard shell case. If it's got a pair of nice pickups, that's $200 value. We're at 300 bucks already. If it has some killer tuners on it or whatever, then we're at another almost 100 bucks. So that'd be like 400 bucks. And then you're getting the guitar body and neck for basically free. So that's kind of how I break it down in my head. But this one, you know, it doesn't really come with the case. It doesn't have nice pickups. It doesn't have quality parts on it. It's a 100 model from LTD. So that means that pretty much all the hardware is going to have to go if we're going to rebuild it. It is made in Korea. I like that. My buddy had a Viper 300, which I think the 300s came out before the 100s. But look at the condition of this thing. It's completely trashed. Which, you know, that's my specialty, but not for 400 bucks. So it says it's no longer for sale, meaning it didn't sell, but the person might have taken it down thinking, it's not really worth selling at this point. It says it has been upgraded with Duncan design pickups. Those don't look like Duncan design to me, but maybe that's like a model they were making around 2007. So this is an 07 model. 07's a little later than I prefer, but being that it's a Korean one, Koreans, even in 07, I bet they're pretty nice. The newer Korean ones are really nice because I've got a bunch of MH1000s and they're all awesome. Jackson Stealth. This is the Jackson I've never got to have my hands on yet. I've never owned one, never got to mod one. And I do want to. Look at that input jack is on the front. It's like an Ibanez S body, basically. This is like Jackson's competitor to the S. So it's got a real thin body. This one looks like it's got like maybe a DiMarzio pickup in the bridge. It's got a little bit of dings and chips. 22 frets. Stealth EX. Yeah, that thing's dope. Always wanted to have one. Now that I'm not really trying to hoard anymore, you know, I didn't jump on it. $395 plus $79 shipping. Not a bad price. If it, like I said, if it came with a hard shell case and maybe some upgraded pickups, might be a little more up my alley. But this right here is like right up my alley. So look at this one. This is an M155, no neck plate, good sign. But look at this weird texture on the guitar. Somebody probably refinished it. It's got crazy orange peel, which is not a big deal. I can refinish it. Made in Korea though. Upside down tuners. I see that once in a while on guitars. What is up with that? M155. I'm not familiar with the 155s. What year did they make these? So it's a used guitar and shows signs of wear. I don't remember how I came across this, but it's a very clearly a project guitar. I don't have any original parts for it. It came in like this. It's pretty screwed up, mismatched machine heads, a small crack along the truss rod cavity, orange peely paint. Someone can do something cool with this, but I just don't have the time. I could have done something cool with it. How much was that one? So $124.99 plus $25 shipping. That's a bargain right there. No pickups, no bridge. We would have probably switched all that stuff out anyways. After tax, $25 shipping. That means they're probably going to get screwed on the shipping a little bit because it's probably going to cost $50 to $60. Is that Michigan, Harbor Beach, Michigan? That's across the U.S. from me. There's no way it would have been $25 to ship that. It probably would have been $50 or $60. So they might have come back to me, made me feel bad, and said, I'm going to lose money on this. And then I never send extra money. I always go, come on, man, you put that price on there. Or they go, I don't know, I didn't know how much it was going to be to ship. And part of me feels bad for him, but at the same time, if nobody else was going to buy it anyways, that means they should have lowered the price, and then that would compensate for the shipping. And I don't know. Cool guitar, though. I wish I would have grabbed this one. Ooh, I just noticed something different about it. The dot inlays are offset. They're off to the left-hand side, which is like a Jackson thing to do. That's cool. LTDs typically, M100s, I probably have a neck around here, are centered dots. So, interesting. I just don't know what year they made the 155. If you guys know about the 155s, inform me down in the comments section. Alright guys, so now let's get into the Q&A. You guys have been sending me a ton of questions. In the last few weeks, I haven't gone through them. So this is going to be a big mix and match of questions from you guys. Mix and match. A mishmash? I don't know. Bunch of random questions. So let's jump on into them. Zombie asked me, how durable is that Spray Max clear coat? I used Rust-Oleum 2X clear in matte and gloss, and the matte wore through really fast, but I used it on top of a white base and neon yellow spray paint. The yellow is something different and gums up weird when worn off. All Rust-Oleum 2X products, except the yellow, which is just that neon Rust-Oleum stuff. He used all Rust-Oleum 2X stuff. Okay. Also, that yellow does not work with crackle at all. But yeah, how durable is Spray Max? I would use a whole can as well. Down below, somebody responded, Spray Max 2K is much harder and much more durable than the 2X. Yeah, Spray Max 2K is a completely different thing, and it's kind of confusing because 2K, 2X, but 2X is just a branding thing from Rust-Oleum. It just means that it covers twice as much as regular stuff. Their clear coats, to me, I never, ever, ever use Rust-Oleum clear coat unless I'm doing like nothing guitar related, I would say. If I'm painting a sign or something, I might throw some Rust-Oleum 2X over it, or even maybe the back of a neck I would put like a Rust-Oleum matte, but really you'd get a much better product if you go with like a diamond or another product, or even Spray Max, they make nice matte clear coat too, so it's very durable. It takes a little while to get it down if you've never used something like that, because all the level sanding and polishing and everything, but you don't even really need to level sand it. You could spray it on and it could look good enough for you. I've actually sprayed guitars and had people walk through the shop and seen ones that I've sprayed the 2K clear on, and they said, you're really going to level sand that still? And I go, yeah, it'll look way better when it's level sanded. And they're like, man, it looks good as is. So you might get some dust in it. You might need to level sand parts of it, or even like just get like, some 2000 grit sandpaper to get like the dust nibs out, but 2K is much more durable than 2X. Completely different world. Jerry comes on and always one-ups me. So with this one, he said, if you want to talk old guitars... Okay, so this is in response. A few weeks back, we were talking about 90s guitars, I'm guessing. He said, if you want to talk old guitars, let's see 60s and 70s. I'm not a fan of 60s and 70s guitars, really, to be honest, because I like modern shred stuff. I like humbuckers with Floyd Roses and pointy headstocks and all that stuff. And Jackson, are there 1970s Jacksons? I don't think so. I think they started in the early 80s, maybe. Maybe there are 70s. I'm not sure. But 60s and 70s vintage stuff, it just doesn't do anything for me. I don't really listen to a lot of older stuff like that anymore. I do like some 70s stuff, of course, and Pink Floyd and Van Halen and Black Sabbath, but Led Zeppelin, a lot of it actually. But I don't know. I'm into 80s and 90s and newer, really, for guitars. Here's Jerry again. That's not an old magazine. You should see the 1975 issue of Playboy. Oh, dude, that's ancient. 1975. We were talking a couple, like I think last week or 2 weeks ago on Sunday Morning Shred, I was reading the Kirk Hammett guitar magazine from March of 1998. and it was 24 years old. So that's how you know you're old. When you think 24 years ago is not old, 75 is ancient, Jerry. Although, do you have that 75 issue? Maybe you can send it my way. No, totally kidding. I don't know if I need that. Tones. What's up, Tones? Hey, Mark, all the Dean USA dime guitars are 24 and 5/8. I can't tell the difference from 24 and 3/4. Cheers. So, 24 and 5/8 is the scale length on BC Rich guitars. And when I did the BC Rich catalog, that's what he's responding to here. I was saying I've never heard of 24 and 5/8, but apparently the dime guitars, I've got a handful of dime guitars here. I got to double check that. I should have double checked before I did this, huh? He said, the next one says, great result here. Good work. I would make only one recommendation. Polishing the frets. I polished the frets on my guitar a couple months ago, and I used a Dremel with a felt wheel and some Flitz polish. I've never heard of Flitz. They came out looking like mirrors and will now be the only way I finish off frets that need some life breathed into them. Strings move effortlessly over them. So what he's talking about is a few episodes back on Trash to Thrash, I showed my process of how I buff out frets. I think it was a guitar that I leveled the frets, crowned them, and then polished them back up. And I taped off the whole fretboard, of course, and was using like 4/0 steel wool to get the frets looking nice. And then it takes forever. I usually don't do it with the Dremel. I started to now because it is so much faster. I agree. Before I actually got this comment, or right around the time this comment came in, I switched over to the Dremel because I was just noticing it takes way too long and it's a lot faster to do it with the Dremel. They do come out looking like mirrors. I'm going to show it on an episode of Trash to Thrash, but you can actually see I just bought like a huge bag of Dremel wheels. These are little polishing wheels, and within one guitar, these wheels turn black. So I pretty much just use a wheel per guitar, and it makes a huge difference. Yeah, it really does make a huge difference. Makes them look so much nicer. Larry said, do you polish the frets to a glass-like finish? To me, that simple act is a every single time process. Once you get used to the frets at a high polish life, isn't the same without it. And I do agree with that, but here's the thing. It still takes a long time to mask off all the frets and do all this cleaning and all this. And I try to talk all my customers into that, but not all of them are working with an endless budget. So they got to pick and choose what they're going to have me do. I imagine some of them are going to get the guitar back. Next time they restring it, they'll probably polish up the frets and clean their fretboard more. I try to at least clean the fretboard for free, even if they don't ask, because I want it to look good on Trash to Thrash, the show. So sometimes I'll throw little things in like that, like I'll clean the fretboard, oil it up, and make it look real nice. Sometimes I'll even offer little things like that. I feel like if it takes me an hour or two, but makes the episode way better, and makes my customer a lot happier, I'll throw in. Todd says, oh, we got another one mocking me. Jerry mocking me. We got Todd mocking me. It's almost 90 here, is what I said in one of the videos. I was like, it's so hot in here. It's like 90 degrees. Got the AC rolling. You guys might even be hearing it in the background now. I hope not, but it seemed like it was pretty quiet in that video. He said, LOL, it's 100 degrees here in the south. Dries the paint pretty fast. 100 is hot. 90 is pretty hot too, though. You gotta, come on. Come on. It gets 110 degrees, 115 degrees here, couple days out of the year. So we're coming up on that time. It's July in Southern California. I live in a valley, so it traps the heat, and the humidity sometimes gets trapped in here. But next valley over is the San Fernando Valley. If you guys watch Cobra Kai or Karate Kid, that takes place in the San Fernando Valley. That's where all the porn used to be shot. That is another valley, and that place gets even hotter than here. That gets 117, 118. It's like 9 degrees hotter than here on average because they're a little more insulated from the ocean. So we get an offshore flow here, and we get like a cool morning and cool evenings, but then it gets pretty hot during the day. So 90 is pretty hot. Come on, give me some credit, Todd. Chris commented here, I had talked about a Japanese-made PS4. Actually, it's, I was going to say, it must be right out of my reach. Maybe you could see it. It's one of these ones hanging back here. He said, PS4 as in Jackson Performance PS4. I'm sure they were all made in Korea. My first electric guitar was a first-gen PS2 with a vintage trim, serial number, blah, blah, blah. No, the PS4s are Japanese-made. I can't think off the top of my head I can't even speak. Does Jackson make Korean guitars? I'm trying to think in my head. Let me know in the comments, guys. I need you guys on this one. Let me know. Does Jackson have guitars that are made in Korea? And the PS4s, those are Japanese for sure. They say made in Japan right on the neck heel. So I'm not aware of any that are made in Korea, but correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. Totally not John. Okay, not John. It's probably John. Wow, didn't know you had a job before making Trash to Thrash. Keep up the content. I love watching Trash to Thrash, and I like the high production value in each episode. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I had a job up until March of last year, so I think I started Trash to Thrash a few months before that, but I had been working on it for like a year and a half. I had started working on a few episodes, and I never dreamed of doing an episode a week until I started the show and people wanted it, and then I tried, and man, is that tough to do. It takes me like 2 to 3 days to edit one episode. Plus, I got to record all those segments that you see me talking to the camera. Plus, I got to record me jamming on the guitar. Plus, work on the guitars. So, yeah, doing an episode a week is like nearly impossible when it's just me. I can't hire an editor because I can't really afford an editor. I do have some ideas and some tricks up my sleeve, but for now, this is just the pace we're going to have to move until we get that Patreon up. So if you guys want to see even more content, go support me on Patreon. And the more people who help me out over there, I'm going to be able to hire more people to create a team, because I want to hire an editor. I want to hire Ryan full time and get him in here working on guitars with me all the time. But between the 2 YouTube channels, making Patreon content, working on the guitars, I do a lot of different things. Plus, I have a family. I mean, I work almost 80 hours a week on guitars. And yeah, it's a grind, but it's living the dream. Crabtree said, "That is so awesome. I recently quit a good job to build and fly FPV drones professionally." I don't know what FPV is. "I'm broke, but I'm doing what I love." See, that's the same thing with me. Awesome story. Is doing your guitar work full-time, does it make enough money to live without doing an external job? Because it's a dream of mine too. And I told him, not really. I work much more than full-time. Usually it's around 80 hours a week, to be honest. And with everything I do on the side as well, then I can make it. But I'm hoping with time YouTube and Patreon really kick up and I can start making my living more off that stuff. And then I can focus on slower builds, not having to work so hard, 80 hours a week. I would love to take weekends off. So I'm putting in the time now, hoping it's going to pay off in the future. Punk fan 97, you youngin. I'm guessing you're born in 97. It would be nice to see a left-handed build. And Michael's always requesting lefty builds. You could actually see in his avatar there, or whatever it's called, his thumbnail, it's a lefty guitar. So Michael comments all the time. Absolutely agree, Mark should do at least one. There was at least one, guys. Remember the left-handed Frankenstrat build that I did? That was actually a beautiful guitar. And I am working on another lefty, but I can't just, whatever comes in, I'm down to work on. But I can't buy lefty guitars to build and then let them sit on the shelf because I don't know if it's going to sell or not. I think it's like 15% of people are left-handed and 15% of guitarists would probably be left-handed too. So if I have an 85% of my audience or of the buying market is right-handed people, the ones that I build to sell are probably mostly going to be right-handed guitars because, again, I do this as my job, so I need to keep money coming in. I can't have guitars sitting on the shelf. But anything you guys buy and send in to me, I'm willing to work on. So if there's any lefties out there, send your guitars into me. I'm more than happy to work on them. Same thing with basses and same thing with BC Riches. And dime bag guitars. These are the ones that everybody's requesting, but you guys got to send them in to me. PRSs too. Where's my PRS people at? Pistol Pete, please just restore this neck. Don't replace it. So he's talking about weeks ago. I got in a Jackson Kelly. Somebody donated to the channel. It was, I think, Steve. Pretty sure it was Steve that I'm working on some of his other guitars. And I had said, because the headstock was snapped like right down in half. And I had said, I might replace the neck. What I meant by that was I'm going to replace it with a vintage correct, like a 1990s Japanese-made Jackson neck. I'm not going to go with like some, random neck. The, Fuzz Cuz, that's a funny name. My 2 cents is to fix the headstock. It stops being a Jackson and becomes a park caster once there's a new neck. And I kind of agree with that. It does. If you put like a random neck on it, you know, it does start to lose. To me, honestly, what makes a Jackson, the soul comes from the neck. Jacksons have some of the best necks. Same with the old Korean LTDs. The neck is what really makes those guitars. So you could probably slap those necks on a different type of body and still have an amazing guitar. My feeling right now is I'm probably going to repair the neck, because I've actually got tons of comments on this one. And this is the first time I brought it up on here, but a lot of people have brought it up. So I will probably repair that neck, but if I didn't repair it, I'd be replacing it with another, you know, era-correct Jackson neck. Brett said, "You do good work, brother. I like the channel. Please do anything but crackle, splatter, or swirl." Getting kind of redundant at this point. I haven't even done a swirl for you guys yet. What do you mean it's getting redundant? I mean, crackle and splatter, I kind of get that. But you got to remember, this is my job, and I'm showing you guys what I'm working on. If you don't want to see crackle and splatter, skip the episode. But if I want to keep putting out episodes, I'm trying to show you guys every guitar I'm doing, because I'm cranking out episodes as quick as I can of Trash to Thrash. So if I were to listen to your comment here, Brett, that means that I'm just going to go weeks and weeks all the time, because without an episode, I'm saying, because this is what people are requesting from me. There's not a ton of people out there who do good crackle and splatter paint jobs, so that's why people are noticing me and coming to me for this. So if I don't show you the stuff people are coming to me for mostly, then you're not going to see much from me, unfortunately. You know, that's just how it is. I do have other techniques and tricks up my sleeve. We have a swirl one coming up, but I've never even done a swirl one on the show yet, so how's that getting redundant? Tyler says, "Love your work, man. Question for Sunday. If you could only have one guitar for the rest of your life, what guitar would it be? Also, with that Dean, you should switch out the headstock completely and put on one of those big Dean headstocks." Well, it's a neck through, so I can't switch out. You're talking about the guitar unboxing I did, and it's a Dean Vendetta, I think. Somebody actually sent in, I think it was Taryn. She sent me in a modified headstock she had done with the exact same guitar, and it looked sick. So I could see a way to modify that headstock, which I'm probably going to follow in her footsteps. If I could have only one guitar for the rest of my life, what would it be? I own a lot of guitars. A lot of them are sentimental. I don't play them as much as I play other ones. I really don't play that much right now, but if I could only have one, it would be my Edwards CY165 CTM. It's a red quilt maple top. Beautiful guitar. It's my favorite guitar I've ever owned. 27 frets. It's over the top beautiful, and it's got everything I need. I need humbuckers. I need Floyd Rose. It's got coil taps with push-pulls. It's got a phase switch. When you pull up the tone, it knocks one of the pickups out of phase. It does a lot. It sounds great clean. It sounds awesome with distortion. It shreds. It's my favorite guitar I've ever owned, so it would have to be that guitar. And my goal one day is to build guitars better than that, or as good. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that. I played everything, and I played things as good and things close, like the LTD MH1000s. Those are close, but they're not as perfect for me. Jerry again. I have a question. Will the Floyd Rose FRX top mount tremolo system work on my hardtail Jackson? Thanks, Jerry. I don't think it will, to be honest. I think that the FRX system only works with Tune-o-matic posts. It mounts to the Tune-o-matic posts. And part of the Tune-o-matic thing is a lot of times the strings are not level. The neck is not level across. The neck is actually angled so that the strings come up higher at the bridge. Hopefully I'm explaining this to where this makes sense to you guys. But like instead of the strings coming straight across to the bridge, they come up. So it's made to sit higher off the body. And I think if you have a hardtail, it's going to be sitting even like a tremolo bridge would. So I don't think the FRX is going to work on a hardtail. I don't think so. I think it still needs a little bit of space underneath, and that the Tune-o-matics are raised a little bit. So I think that they need that clearance. I could be wrong. If anyone knows for sure, comment down below. But I'm pretty sure you can't slap it on a hardtail guitar. Pistol Pete, love this channel as I watch every video. Dude, thank you. That's awesome. Personally, I would love to see more traditional finishes, solid colors and bursts. And I show you what I'm working on. So at this time, I'm not really working on many solid color guitars. It's just not what people come to me for. And when I have guitars for my own projects that I'm building to sell, I like to go crazy. I like to push it. I like to take ideas that I've had over the last year that I've never seen done. It doesn't really interest me to do things that I've seen done over and over again, like a red finish or a standard finish doesn't excite me as much as doing something that's interesting and new and different, even though it's still crackle and splatter all the time. Maybe I've never seen that combination of color, or I've never seen crackle with splatter, and then it brings in all these different options like stealth splatter, stealth crackle. That's the direction I like exploring. The Walshinator. Hey Mark, I'm about to paint my own Lava Jackson Kelly. I was wondering if you could go over the steps you take in painting said guitar. It'll be my first time using crackle paint and I'm a bit unsure. Thanks. Things such as wait time between paint and crackle and clear coat. I'm using the 2X clear coat gloss as my finish and a few Tremclad colors. I don't know what Tremclad is. Tremclad. Oh, you're British. Colors. Or you're maybe Canadian. I wouldn't use the 2X clear. Use 2K clear. 2K is way better than 2X. Spray Max 2K is actually a 2-part clear, like an automotive grade clear. 2X is just off the shelf, kind of cheaper stuff. So the color coats, I don't mind 2X for. 2X colors look great, and they go on well. And if you put a nice top coat on them, they do really good. So I will be going over this. I'm going to be doing a crackle tutorial at some point. Might be on my Instagram. I mean, my main YouTube channel. I'm not sure if that one's going to be on Patreon because I've been doing tutorials over on my Patreon page, and I like giving the Patreon family a little something extra that they're not going to be able to get on YouTube, and it entices some people to go join the Patreon because that's a huge support for me. So, not sure where I'm going to do one, but there's a lot of little technical things that go along with crackle, and I'm actually working probably tomorrow morning on some new techniques to get larger crackles. So stay tuned for that. We'll see if it works out or not. But I got some ideas. Tim, no man, do the Kerry King style pattern in black and purple on a Stealth model ML Washburn. So the Stealths are the sharp ones. The Kerry King style pattern like I did on the Cueva Roads. Black and purple. That would be awesome. Especially a metallic purple. And then put dime slime colors around the edge of the guitar. In a dime style handwriting font, drink it or wear it. And down the neck, walk on home, boy. And across the back edge of the guitar, get ya pull. You got a bunch of cool ideas. Man, that would be so sick it wouldn't even make any sense, bro. EV Dog. I've been playing around with refreshing guitar bodies and whatnot, having an auto body background, but I'm very curious to a decent lead on new hardware for guitars. Just eBay and Amazon? Yeah, I would say eBay, Amazon, Reverb. That's where I get my hardware from. There's no magic place to get it from. Unless you become a dealer, or not dealer, but like a artist. Maybe you can contact the companies. If you have a big enough following, you can sometimes contact the companies and have them sell direct to you. And as an artist, like I'm an EMG artist, so I get all my EMGs through them and directly from them, and they don't put it in like their packaging. They ship it in bags. It's a little bit different, but you get a nice discount from that. So if you got a big following and you can get eyes on their products and get, as an influencer, if you can influence others to use their products, then they might work out a deal with you where you can start getting their stuff direct at cost, or like, at a dealer cost. One other thing about eBay and Amazon as well is the prices fluctuate all the time. So you never know what's going to be for sale. It makes quoting kind of a hassle because every time somebody wants a quote, there's all these different finishes for the hardware. Goto tuners, you can have chrome, Cosmo black, gold, and then you can have reverse headstock, you can have standard headstock, you can have different tuning keys. So it doesn't really make sense to buy in bulk because every customer, when you're doing custom stuff, wants something different. And you can't just buy it in bulk and get like good bulk discounts. So doing custom stuff is tricky. You got to pay more, but you got to, charge the customer and just tell them, this is how much things cost. Unfortunately, if you want an awesome guitar, you got to pay. You get what you pay for. Wes said, "Hey buddy, it is because of your inspiration that I'm in the middle of making a 5150 Kramer out of a brand new Kramer Beretta Special." That's so funny. 3 days ago was actually, might have been the video he commented on, was me unboxing a Kramer Beretta Special. Same exact guitar, and I'm going to be doing a 5150 paint job on it and modifying it for a Floyd Rose, which is going to be insane. So stay tuned for that. In, probably 6 months it'll be on an episode of Trash to Thrash, but that's so cool. I love hearing when you guys are working on guitars and you're inspired by me or Trash to Thrash, and I want to create some type of like Discord or like some private chat, maybe even the Patreon, for all you guys who are builders who watch my stuff, and some type of community where we can all come together and help each other and give tips, because we need to create a database and help each other and support each other and check out each other's builds. I love seeing your guys' builds. I love hearing what you guys are working on. I don't always have time to respond or say, much, but when you guys make your videos for me to play here on the show, that's like one of my favorite things. When you guys are talking me through your build, showing me the guitar, playing it, talking about what inspired it. Like, I think that's so cool. Nalax says, this is cool, flexible payment and custom orders. Custom orders sound like content. Would be cool seeing customer unboxing. The Rhodes is amazing looking. So I love seeing customers' guitars out in the wild when they're up on stage or in their guitar collections or whatever. The guy who bought the purple Crackle LTD, he also bought the Lizard, the green and yellow burst one, and he sent me a picture a couple days ago of the two of them next to each other. So cool. My two favorite guitars that I built right there, probably. And he owns both of them, and they're right next to each other. It's like, that's what I would want. I would want them next to each other. Another guy, so funny actually, his name is Mark. Another guy named Mark, who's a big customer of mine, who's had me refinish and bought probably 4 or 5 guitars at least off me at this point. Mark G, and the other one's Mark S. Mark G has the Stealth Frankenstrat, no, the Stealth Wolfgang, and the blue and purple Burst Wolfgang, along with like 5 other Wolfgangs that I painted. So he's got like this huge wall, 2 of my favorite Wolfgangs I've done next to each other, like, so sick. And then there was another guy named Tim 2 years ago now, when I first started selling my creations. He bought the Alien Blood Haxon. He had me customize a Wolfgang for him. He bought a Flame Maple Blue Jackson with gold hardware that was on one of the first episodes of Trash to Thrash. And I want to say he has one more guitar that I've done. Another one that was, the Blood Splatter Wolfgang, my original black with red Blood Splatter Wolfgang. So the Haxon and the Wolfgang Blood Splatter are with each other. The 2 first Splatter guitars I did. That I love knowing that my creations are amongst family. And by the way, the flexible payment plan on my website now, I have it set up so you can break down the guitars into payments. Like right now, I have the F200 for sale. I've got the Mustaine, Dave Mustaine signature guitar. I've got the Sun Valley Shredder. I've got the Jackson JSX Splatter Crackle guitar that, unfortunately, the customer bought, and before it shipped, had to cancel the order. So that one is available over on the website. Man, I might keep that one. If no one buys that soon, I'm going to put up some guitars from my personal collection, sell those. I might keep that one because I don't actually own any Crackle guitars. I don't own any of my... I own one creation of mine, which is an old Frankenstrat, blue and purple burst. But yeah, that Jackson is so sick with the white pickups. I want that thing. So that one's available, and now on my website, you can break it down into payments where they're going to bill you every 2 weeks. Break it up into 4 payments. But you know what? I don't know if it covers all those guitars because that payment plan thing might only work up to $1,000. If you need payment plans, though, I offer direct payment plans where the guitar doesn't ship till it's paid off, but you can make payments to me, and I'll keep the guitar reserved for you, and it ships once you pay it off. So I try to make it as easy as possible. American Musical Supply, back when I was like 18 years old, I bought a Gibson Flying V from them through payment plans. I bought it. It was 5 payments of $250. They billed me, no, it was 5 payments of $200. They billed me every month just to my debit card. I didn't have to have a credit background check or anything like that. And they shipped the guitar right away, which is, no, I don't do that. I can't take that risk. But how awesome is that? At 18 years old, I got to buy a Gibson V. I would have never been able to save up $1,000 back then. But $200 a month, I could handle that. So I like to pass on that idea in the spirit of American Musical Supply and give people, payment plans, because that's the only way I could have built up a guitar collection. These must have been, this chunk of questions was about the guitars I have for sale. Internal Emptiness said, the pain of being a teen without a job. Matthias? Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Yeah, I remember. I used to read guitar magazines in my room for hours, dreaming about the guitars I wanted. Now I'm an adult with a job, still dreaming about the guitars I can't afford. Yeti 100, I like this a lot. He said, listen, ask all your neighbors if you can cut their grass for $25 to $30. Is that a month or one? No one's paying $30 for one mow, I don't think. Any odd jobs or pizza delivery for any of the big pizza businesses in your neighborhood. I'm sure in a couple of months you'll have enough money to afford a cool guitar. That's how I did it. I worked for anybody I could. I did any jobs I could to scrape money together. And, I'd get a couple $100. Christmas comes around, I'd contact all my family members and say, look, please don't give me any regular presents. I'm trying to save up for this guitar. Send me a couple bucks, and it's going to go towards this guitar, and then I'll have this guitar forever. I still own 2 guitars that I bought that way 20 years later. And talk to your parents, birthday money, Christmas money, family, do any odd jobs, clean up the dog crap, clean the windows at home, clean the bathroom, clean the shower. Get a job under the table somewhere as a youngster. I worked at 13 years old at a guitar shop. I worked for, I shouldn't say, I don't want to out anybody, but I worked for people when I was underage to get money to do all this stuff. So it's not easy. It sucks. Wash cars, stuff like that. Learn how to change oil. Maybe you could change people's oil in their cars. I used to work at a gas station when I was like 15 years old, and I would fill propane tanks, propane and propane accessories like Hank Hill. I sold propane. I would help the mechanics. I would do full service. So I would check people's fluids, air their tires up. I'd get a couple bucks tips from people. And I'd walk away at the end of the day with 20 or 30 bucks in tips sometimes. Multiply that 2 or 3 times a week sometimes. Over a summer, you could definitely make $1,000. So it's hard, but save your money. Don't buy fast food. Don't waste your money on soda. I love soda. I love McDonald's once in a while and fast food and In-N-Out and all that stuff, but it's expensive and it adds up. And when you really look at it and go through your bank statement and look at all the stuff you're spending your money on, and you'll go, wow, I spent $200 at Subway in the last year. Like, you could have saved that money, Actually, for real, I did spend $200 at Subway in 1 month before. I used to eat it almost every day for a while. Austin said, are you struggling with your content schedule? I've noticed that Trash to Thrash videos have become more bi-weekly. I haven't seen any announcements about the LTV guitar giveaway you said you were doing for your Patreon. Might want to consider hiring an editor or even someone to document and film as your channel grows. Love seeing you grow, Mark. Keep it up. The truth is, making custom guitars for people is not a way to get rich. The cost and the time that goes into building each one of these guitars, I make much less than I did at my day job. I work 80 hours a week now. I work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, sometimes 14 hours a day, sometimes more than that. So I rarely take days off because I got so much work to do here. And between editing and all this stuff, we're just making it by. But I can't hire an editor because I don't have extra money for that. So editors are expensive. You need to pay editors. For an episode of Trash to Thrash, there's like, probably 20 to 30 hours of editing there. To have someone film me, they'd have to be here all day long. It's just too expensive. So go join the Patreon page and help me out, guys. I will definitely hire an editor as soon as I can. And I want to hire Ryan full time. So it's just, this business doesn't make a ton of money. I make, I get, like I said, I don't remember if it was this week or last week on Trash to Thrash, but for every 10 estimates I do, I get 1. So that means that the price is a little too high for most of the people asking. And I'm not charging that much. Like I said, I make less than I did at my day job, but I work way more, and I get to work from home and be with my family and head inside and see my little buddy and my daughter and my fiance. So being around the family is that's the dream right there. But am I struggling with the content schedule? Absolutely. Trash to Thrash is the most demanding thing I've ever done. It is crazy trying to do that show every single week because you got to think about it. To do an episode a week means you have to finish a guitar every week, which means you got to do the buffing, the sanding, the level sanding, polishing, all that stuff, plus assembly. Plus, you got to start getting work on the next week's guitars so that they're going to be ready to buff and sand and all that stuff. Buffing and sanding and polishing and all that stuff could take a full day almost. And then assembling could take almost a full day to do the setup, assembly, all these little fine adjustments you have to do. Custom guitars don't just bolt up easily. There's a lot of stuff that's got to be done. So could take 2 or 3 days to edit the episode. I got to answer emails. There's a lot to be done. This is from Mark S. here. He's the one who bought the Lizard and the Purple Crackle. I heard that guy that bought the single pup pickup, Purple Crackle Ltd, made some changes to that guitar. Can you show us? LOL. Yeah, we did a big modification before that guitar shipped to him, and I will be showing it on a future vlog. I'm not sure if it's going to come on this channel or the main channel or when it's going to come, but yeah, it will be coming. Do you know how to make a white guitar finish without it yellowing over the years? Not really. UV top coats are supposed to help that, but I don't think that there's any real way to do that. I mean, after 40 years, paint isn't made to last forever. It's not, it's just the nature of what it is. So no, I don't know of a way. Cam asked, just wondering, why don't people stain or color the fretboards? Is it because they wear differently? I imagine that's the reason, but it would look sweet. PRS does some interesting stuff like that. They do like dyes on their fretboards, and I'm not sure. Some people do dye the fretboard to get it a darker shade, but as far as actually painting it, nobody really paints it. I think maybe because it's a porous wood, but you could stain it because even if it starts to wear away, the stain will sink into the wood. That might work. Felipe asked, or he said, you have skills, a spray booth. Why do you use spray cans instead of a gun and a compressor? And the real reason is because to clean a gun, it's a ton of work to clean a gun. When you use spray cans, you just got the cans ready to go. There's really no cleanup at the end. To clean the gun is kind of a hassle, especially when you're doing clear coats. You're doing like 6 or 7 clear coats in a row, and you got to remix, the 2 parts for the clear coat. 2K clears have like an activator and like a main, whatever the medium is. So you have like your 1 gallon paint and then like a little jar of something, and you mix them together. But that hardens and dries within like 15 minutes. So you could only mix up like 1 to 2 sprays, coats worth at a time. That means you're mixing 3 or 4 times every time you do a session of clear coat, and you got to completely clean the gun in between all that. So it's a ton of work. You're hustling the whole time. And as far as color goes, every guitar I do is a completely different guitar. So I might not use the same colors twice ever. There's a handful of reds and blues and purples that I use all the time, and black and white, of course. But to be able to choose, to be able to stock that many types of paint, it's not really feasible for me, because in a year I do like probably 35 guitars, and there's probably 20 different colors. That means I have to buy 20 different colors, stock them, and cleaning the gun. It's a kind of a lot more work. It's a little hassle, and yeah, so that's the main reasons. It's the keeping up on the equipment, and then also stocking the paint. And then also paint in a can like that, not an aerosol can because that's like sealed, but like paint in a can that you like pour into a spray gun, that's going to go bad. So I might not use it again, and then I end up spending a lot more money on material. Leonel, man, sorry, Leon. Oh my God, how did I read that? I don't know if I'm reading that wrong. I'm losing my mind at this point. What router do you use? I use a Bosch Colt. It's a 1 horsepower router. I think they sell them at StuMac, but that's not where I got mine. But it's a beast. It's easy to use, it's small, and it's a monster. Elias. Wow, I really dig the Nebula finish. It would be cool to see some green guitars if possible. For some reason, green is rare to find on guitars. I know, green and purple are like the 2 least common colors. I've done a couple greens. I've done the Lizard Ltd, which is one of my favorites, and I did the green Frankenstrat, which is, again, one of my favorites. I've done a lot of blues and purples recently, so I think I got to jump back into the green world. The Alien Blood guitars had green splatter, so I've done some greens, but yeah, I think I need to do some more greens. Paolo said, great info. How did you secure the battery inside the compartment? So he must be talking about for active electronics, they require a 9-volt battery. And what EMG recommends is to wrap the foam that comes with the EMG pickups around it and put that in there so it's not bouncing around. It's nice and secure within foam. They also make 9-volt battery clips that you can just screw right into the back of the guitar. Sometimes I do that, but there's not always space for that. So sometimes you just have to put it right in there with a little bit of foam around it so it's not going to be touching anything, and that's one of the easiest ways to do it. Also, of course, you could have like a battery box routed into the guitar and make it a lot easier to just open that battery box that's not in the control cavity. You know, you've probably seen those. All right, guys, that was a lot of questions we just went over, so I appreciate you guys sending them in. Keep them coming. Let me know what you guys are wondering about or what you're thinking about. Leave your comments down below. If you guys have any solutions or answers to the things that were asked today, leave those comments below. It's appreciated. I love the community aspect that you guys bring to this. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll leave a couple links here to past episodes that I think you should be watching. And yeah, like I said, hit that subscribe button. I want to get this channel to 1,000. We are getting close. We're like probably 60 away or something like that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you guys very soon. Go sign up to the Patreon and rock on, my friends.